Alright, I got an interesting one for you here today. As you can see there, low decibel. So these are new for this year. I recently messed around with them. I did a review out down here, patterning them and whatnot. Now, so if you missed that original review video, I'll put a link in the description for that. Alternatively, you can just check out the 410 playlist on the channel for everything 410. But these are low decibel, drastically subsonic. As you can see there, Remington advertises them as 650 feet per second. Now in that review video, I made a comment on this. You can see there, that's clearly the picture of a squirrel, as if they are, well, not as if, they are literally suggesting that you could use this to dispatch squirrels. And this is 9-shot. It's not tungsten or anything special, heavier than lead shot like that. It's just regular old lead shot. You can pause and read that if you would like. But it seems like a joke to me. I've had problems taking squirrels out with anything smaller than 6-shot. Like 6-shot is the minimum I will use, and I really prefer to use 4 or 5-shot for the larger pellets to have the knockdown energy. I've shot too many. I mean, I've even hit a few with 6-shot where I'd hit them and they just take off running over the hill just like here and never to be seen again. And I've also literally blown them out of the trees they were in, so there's no question that I hit them, and they still hit the ground and take off for 100 yards or more. So 7.5-shot, 8-shot, for example, in my opinion, that's way too small unless you're like really close or you're using a 12 gauge and you hit them with a whole bunch. You know, I wouldn't even use 9-shot, let alone at only 650 feet per second. So it really had me questioning, how far will this stuff actually penetrate? I had contemplated getting a hide to, you know, actually put over the front of this, but believe it or not, finding squirrel hides or pelts or whatever you want to call it, it's actually relatively difficult. And I figured if I used any other pelt or hide, you know, people would say it's not the same because it's not a squirrel, yada, yada, yada. So we're going to test it in this bare block today. And I contemplated in that video, would it even penetrate further than a freaking BB gun? So that's what we're going to test. We're going to see what kind of penetration we actually get here today. And keep in mind, this is just bare gel, which, you know, actual living muscle tissue. The penetration, I don't know if there's an exact science to it, but it's always less than what you get in the ballistic gelatin. So this is just a testing medium. I can push my finger right through this stuff. So it has the same, I don't know, I'm probably using the wrong descriptors here. Same volume, same consistency, something like that as human flesh. But you always get less penetration in an actual living thing than you do in this ballistics gel stuff. So I don't know if you want to just call it half, because there's a lot of people that say a BB won't even break the skin, it'll just bounce off of you. I can guarantee you that's not true. I'm not going to shoot myself, but I guarantee you a BB at 600 feet per second, it's going in you. You know, I know people that it's happened to. So those who say a BB would just bounce off of you and not even break the skin, I'm going to completely disagree with that. But we're going to shoot this stuff and see if it can even penetrate as far as a freaking pump BB gun does. I got a chrono set up there. I'm going to try to get some chrono reads off of it, but we're going to chrono the BB gun as well. So this is my calibration BB. You got to shoot it 590 feet per second, give or take 10 or 15 feet per second. And you're supposed to come in between 2.95 inches and 3.75 inches to be within calibration for the 10% ballistics gelatin, which I am coming in at 3.2 inches today. But I only do that with 8 pumps in the particular BB gun. Oh my God, I forgot the BB gun. I meant to bring the BB gun. I was going to give her a full 10 pumps. That's the one thing I forgot today. But anyways, that's 8 pumps, which gets me in about in the 580s. So we do have that for a reference. And we'll see how far these penetrate. Again, keeping in mind there's no pelt and actual muscle. Geez, I cannot talk today. Muscle tissue is a lot firmer. So, you know, your penetration is probably half of what you're actually going to see in this ballistics gelatin here today, and that's not even accounting for the hide. Now, if you want to see what regular velocity 410 shells will do, I've already done a video on that, so I'll put a link in the description for that if you want to check that out. I think I did like 7.5, 6-shot, and a slug, and different things in that video. So if you want to see what a typical 410 shell will penetrate, link in the description for that, or again, check out the 410 playlist on the channel. Now I brought two different shotguns today. I'll try to get a velocity out of each. I'm hesitant to shoot through the chrono. I got to be real close so it doesn't spread and hit anything. And then also it's real hard to get an accurate read on shotguns. As long as the shot stays in the wad cup as it passes through, which it should if I'm close enough, we should get a reading off of these. But also brought both because I'm doing a Brenda keys. I previously have tested the Winchester and Remington offerings, so check out the 410 playlist, but that's coming up next, which is why I brought two different barrel lengths here. But we'll go ahead and shoot at least one of these over the chrono through each barrel length. I got my Rossi here, which I do have a review on the channel for both of these. Again, 410 playlist. This one's a 22-inch barrel with a modified choke. This guy here, it's a turkey gun, but I only have the improved cylinder in it currently because, again, I'm about to send some slugs through this stuff. And this is a 26-inch barrel, or 26.5 with that extended choke there. So as I said, that BB in the gel down there is a result of about 580 some feet per second. That's usually what I get on 8 pumps. And according to my chronograph, a full 10 pumps barely gets it above 600 feet a second. I'm talking like 607, 610. And it's a Crosman 760 Pump Master. So you have that as a reference point. If these go the advertised velocity, that means my BB is actually going slower. So keep that in mind when we compare these penetration depths here in a second. And by the way, you know, my gel's temperature controlled as always. I just got it on some ice packs in here today to maintain the temperature because it's in the low 40s out right now, maybe mid 40s. You know, it comes out of the fridge 34 degrees, 36 degrees. It's supposed to be 39 degrees for optimal results. So nice cool day today, no sun, so we don't have to worry about them heating up or anything on the table down there. So that's the other cool thing about these, they are hearing safe. They're a tad loud down here because the sound echoes off this brick wall, but out in the field or whatever, they're hearing safe. You don't need earmuffs. I don't want to take too many chances with this. So we got 669, so coming in a little higher than advertised out of a 22-inch barrel. So let's try that 26-inch barrel. Should be a little quieter out of this longer barrel too. I mean, I'm still fine, but there's a little echo from that wall. And 681, so they're coming in a smidge above advertised velocity. That was also definitely noticeably quieter out of that 26-inch barrel. Alright, so obviously there wasn't much difference in velocity between the 22 and 26-inch, but I'll go ahead and use the 26-inch barrel on this just to give it the best chance to penetrate as far as it can. So let's go ahead and hit this thing and see what happens. Now I hit that from back here from only 7.5 yards, laser rangefinder confirmed. If you guys are looking for a good budget rangefinder, link in the description for that one. It's great, I've been using it for years. Same for the Chrono, and that's their new 2.0 version, which I like a lot more. So I have not looked at these results yet. I just realized I forgot to mention the difference. So 7.5 yards from where this table's sitting, back behind that bench there, and there's our penetration. I'm going to get a measurement in just a second, but again, you know, if we're figuring for half that amount of penetration, you know, because flesh is much more tough and resilient, then we're only, you know, geez, a lot of these are just right here. Then you would cut that in half back to here. That's almost no freaking penetration. And now slap a hide on there too that it has to penetrate, a thick squirrel hide. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it only made it to 1.5 inches there. You know, some of it 2 inches, and for some reason, you know, probably because it was patterned so thick there in the center, because we're extremely close range. So, you know, I would call it, if you want to average it out, 2 inches. So again, in living flesh, that would probably only be 1 inch. And with the hide on there, that thick squirrel hide, even less. So that was my comment in the review video. I was like, squirrel? I was like, yeah, maybe he's like from here to my foot, but if he was any further away than that, I don't know that it would do him in. And I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing in the results here. So if we shot from a little further back, we'd have even less penetration. We also wouldn't have any of these ones that made it out here to 3-inch, because they wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't have been all patterned so tight there to where they're helping each other penetrate further. So yeah, I stand by my original conclusion. I mean, if the squirrel's any more than like from here to there, you know, 10 yards, I mean, he might go down, but he's going to suffer, that's for sure. And then obviously as responsible hunters, you know, we're not trying to make anything suffer. So I don't know about you, but I shoot squirrels with 410, or I did back in the day, you know, out to 20, 30 yards. But you ain't going to be doing that with this stuff. So again, I think it's highly irresponsible that they would advertise on the box via the picture that you could use that to hunt squirrels with, because that is a load of BS in my opinion. Again, yeah, that looks like plenty, but actual living flesh, your penetration is going to be about half that. And then throw that super thick hide on there too, and then I think most of them would rest just under the hide, which is not very lethal. I also completely forgot to point out here, even though I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, look at the penetration there compared to that BB. Remember, that was only 8 pumps, not even the full 10 pumps, so full 10 would have went slightly further for that BB. So I think most people would probably agree that a BB gun is completely inadequate against a squirrel. And then, like I said earlier in the video, you got a whole swarm of people out there that believe a BB won't even break the skin, which again is BS. But yeah, this shot basically only went half the penetration that BB did with only 8 pumps. So you tell me it's going to be able to humanely dispatch a squirrel. Again, inside of 10 yards maybe, but even then, man, come on, it's getting like half the penetration of a BB out of a pump gun that wasn't even pumped up all the way. So again, if you guys want to see what a standard velocity 410 shell does in ballistics gel, and with different size pellets or shot or whatever you would call it, again, there'll be a link in the description for that video, or alternatively just go and check out the 410 playlist, especially if you're a 410 fan. I got all kinds of good stuff in there. All the products I use and more to make this gel test video for you here today linked in the description, and for things I cannot link to on YouTube, check out my campsite page. Thanks for watching as always, and make sure you stay tuned for the upcoming Ballistic Magnum slug test. See you then.